Hello, this is Jessica McKay with your love and relationship reading for September. Go ahead and take a moment to connect inside, connect with yourself, your spirit guides, and just ask which message is most appropriate for me today. Number 1, number 2, or number 3. And of course, you can choose more than one message if you're drawn to it. So I'm using The Answer is Simple Oracle cards by Sonia Choquette for this reading. So if you chose message number 1, the card that came up is You Are Safe. And there's this sweet little butterfly hanging out under the umbrella of a flower while birds of prey circle in the air. And what I'm getting is that you are protected. What you most fear happening is not going to happen. So if you have been afraid of being more yourself in a relationship, of setting boundaries, of speaking your truth, I'm hearing that it's okay for you to do that. You really are safe. And so much of what we're afraid of in relationship is about being rejected. It's about not being enough or feeling like we're not enough. And spirit guides want you to know that you really are enough. You're always enough. You've always been enough, and you always will be. And so even if the worst thing that you're afraid of happens, even if you risk speaking your truth and somehow you're rejected for that, you're still safe within that. You're still supported. And I'm hearing that that what you're afraid of in this particular instance is probably not going to manifest. So you can let your mind kind of relax on that issue and know that any relationship worth having is worth the risk of being able to be yourself totally, without fear of being attacked or judged, criticized. And so that kind of relationship, a relationship where you can completely be you, is worth fighting for. It's worth taking those risks. And so you're safe. You know, if this is the kind of thing where you have been considering breaking up with someone, moving in a particular direction, I'm hearing that you're safe to do that. If this is about getting closer to a relationship or feeling more connected to a person, it's safe to open yourself up to do that as well. So yeah, you're safe. So that's message number 1. If you chose message number 2, the card that comes up is You Are Not Afraid. And I think this is a very interesting way of phrasing it. You are not afraid. And so what I'm getting from this is that something that you have been worried about or afraid of may be a habitual way of looking at something or seeing something, and that maybe you're not as afraid as you think you are. So it's an interesting card, and what I like about this is this huge person. You just see their feet here, and so I'm getting the sense that it may be time to set a boundary or put your foot down, if you know what I mean, about something. And this is about standing up to some kind of authority in your life, some kind of authority figure, and being able to set the boundaries that you need to set. And so my sense is that the fear that we're talking about here has been about setting boundaries, has been about speaking some kind of truth. So this is a similar message to the one that came up in message number 1, and it's just being reinforced here. So if you chose both messages, this is really saying, you know, it's safe for you to set boundaries in your life and stand up to some kind of message that's been coming in from other people in your life, some kind of criticism, and for you to say, no, I don't see life that way. I don't see myself that way. and I am going to stand up to this, and I'm going to dictate how I move forward and what I do. So both messages are about moving forward in spite of fear. Okay, so that's message number 2. And if you chose message number 3, the card that comes up is Turn on the Light. And it's this sweet scene of a couple holding hands at the top of a mountain, looking down below. And when I hear Turn on the Light, I think about the light that shines from your heart, and the way that the heart sees the world and the way the heart perceives relationships and people. The heart does not judge. The heart sees the beauty and the perfection of things. The mind is the one that criticizes and judges. And so my sense is that you're moving into, or you're being invited to move into alignment with the way that your heart sees you. Seeing that you are enough. You've always been enough. You're worthy of love. And knowing that self-worth is what goes out and attracts people that see you the way you see yourself, with unconditional acceptance. And if you're in a relationship that feels that way, that honors you, who you are, this card is reflecting that for you and validating that for you. If you're not, if you're feeling unfulfilled, if you're feeling as though you can't be yourself, this is what you're being invited to move toward. And you do that by seeing yourself with the eyes, through the lens of your heart. Seeing yourself with compassion, with acceptance for all the choices you've made, and seeing the people in your life, maybe people that you haven't been able to forgive for one reason or another, seeing the choices that they made through the lens of your heart. So seeing the perfection. When you stand at the top of a mountain and you look down below and you see how everything is interwoven together perfectly in this tapestry, there's perfection in that because you see it from high up, from above. You're not looking at it from being down in the grass and being only able to see one foot in front of the other. You have a perspective, you have a wider vantage point, and that's what this card is inviting you into, is to look at your life, to look at your relationships from that wider vantage point and see the perfection. See how nothing could have been any different than it was. Everything that has happened, everything that you've chosen has made you who you are today. And maybe because of some of the disappointments that you've had in the past, who you are today is more compassionate, is stronger, is is more loving. So that is message number 3. Turn on that light, seeing from the eyes of your heart. So I hope that these messages were helpful to you. If they were, please let me know, and I'll see you again next time.